Welcome to Save As Ability, a podcast to educate and inform you about disability employment issues. My name is David D'Arcangelo, and I'm your disability policy expert. Hey everybody, back again for another episode of Save As Ability. It's David D'Arcangelo, great to be with you. This episode is also from a viewer who sent us an email and said, hey Dave, talk about special needs adults. Apparently, there's really not much out there on that. And I think I can explain why. We could talk a little bit about it. So special needs is generally referring to children, right? It's probably something that comes out of the educational environment. Many of the regulations and some of the laws actually speak to special needs. Actually, some people now in the disability community don't even like the term special needs, because they're like, what do you mean special? Why are we special? We want to be the same. So there's not to get into that debate. But generally, I think the reason why you don't see special needs adults a lot is because special needs generally refers to children. And when we say children, well, what do we mean? Well, there's a couple of different ages I want you to be aware of. And first, before I get into it, though, let's talk about how I know some of this is my daughter, Isabella, how proud I am of her. Is because I've gone through it as a parent. I've gone through it as a parent, but I've also gone through it as director and commissioner and, administrating and being on all the boards and, my government roles, my professional roles, going through it as well. So there's a few different ages, right? So services can start as early as 4 years old, generally speaking, okay? And then they generally go to 16 and 18. Those are two important ages. But the next real important age is 22. When you turn 22, in most states, not in all states, but in most states, you generally are leaving the responsibility of the educational system, and you're now going, if you're a person with a disability, if you're a person with a disability, you're now going into the adult system, okay? So that turning 22 age is an important age. It's very significant because between the ages of 4 and 22, generally, the school system, the educational environment, is mostly responsible for the services that you're getting. Now, there are other wraparound services, and it does vary from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. That's generally how it goes. And so there's been a large amount of effort put into making the transition from that educational environment into the adult environment, because the adult environment is much different. When you're in the school environment, there are quarterly meetings and plans you got to sign off of, and there's the whole teams, and there's the BCBA, and there's the speech pathologist, and there's the OT, and all the different professionals who are in on it. When you go into the adult system, it's much different. It's more of a programmatic approach, and there tend to be more community-based services as opposed to like a more institutional educational environment, right? So, for special needs adults, I probably wouldn't say special needs and then adults. I would say an adult with a disability, right? Or even more specific to the person, if they have a developmental disability or an intellectual disability or a mobility, whatever disability that they have, I think that's appropriate to make it as person-centric as you can. Right. We want to be appropriate and respectful of people. That's why, again, special kind of doesn't sit right with some people. But I think when we're talking about children too, it's particularly because it's in some of the regulations and things like that. That's what you can get. But overall, we want to make sure here in America, we're providing for all of our people. That includes people with disabilities and people with disabilities support system. So that's the parents, it's the brothers, it's the sisters, it's the neighbors, the extended family, because it really does take a village, right? And unfortunately, so many programs, particularly at the federal level, have become outdated. And the models that were concocted and put in place back in the 60s and 70s, most of those are still in place, unfortunately. They really haven't changed with the times. So I think one of the things coming now with new leadership is, we now know that we've got to be much more responsive, and we have the technology to be able to improve access to opportunities and independence and self-determination for people with disabilities. That's the goal. is let's provide people access to opportunity. Let's level the playing field so that they can be as independent and self-determined as possible so that they can make their own decisions and do it in a community setting. Unfortunately, though, many of these government programs, particularly the federal ones, time has passed them by. So we're gonna revitalize those, which is a good thing, no matter where you sit on the political spectrum. I think everybody wants to make sure here in America that we're providing for all of our people, and we can do that. We can improve things. So again, this episode was brought to you by a viewer or a listener. Was it? Because we got it via email. I actually should follow up with them. But if you know how to get in touch with us, right? On whatever platform you're listening or watching us on, please, you can go to saveasability.com, send in your idea. We have many of these recently that, we want to hear from you, what you want us to talk about. So we really just scratching the surface here. If you want us to go deeper into more detail, let us know, or other topics as well. We're there for you, trying to support our people with all abilities, right? We're all in various states of ability. So I'm fired up as usual. David D'Arcangelo, another episode of Save His Ability. I hope you have a great day. For more information about disability employment issues, please visit our website, disabilityemploymentsolutions.com. The Save As Ability podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, our YouTube channel at Disability Policy Expert, or wherever you stream your podcasts. Subscribe, stream, rate, and review our shows. Your ratings and reviews help our show reach new audiences. Produced by Pod Pro Entertainment. Save As Ability lives within a network of podcasts located at podproentertainment.com. #TheNewRadio. Again, my name is David D'Arcangelo, and I'm your disability policy expert. Until next time, thank you. I hope you have a great day.